Hi everyone! So today I wanted to make something to decorate my wheelchair because I recently got one and I thought it might be easier for me to talk about my experiences with it while making something to, I guess, personalize it a bit more, make it feel a bit more like mine. And I thought, what better thing to put on it than something reminding me of my favorite disabled superhero. Well, I don't know if, after the recent chapters of the double-hearted comic, I don't know if I could call Scar a hero anymore, because, you can't look at these panels and tell me that man is not at least a little bit evil and fucked up, okay? Yeah, let's get to it then, shall we? Them is the government. Okay, so I did just freehand this, because I couldn't find any, clear logo to trace. So I just, sort of tried to freehand the logo I saw on one of Scar's jackets, which I'm so sad I didn't get, by the way, back when it was out, because that's, the coolest merch ever, but anyway. Yeah, so I'm just gonna cut this out. I have some, fabrics and stuff to use for it. I guess I can start off by telling you a little bit about the comic that I was talking about in case you don't know it. The comic is based on one of Scar's characters that he made up in one of the seasons of Hermitcraft. He was basically a superhero with a bow called Hot Guy. I think the joke came from him using the bow and going Hawkeye, like the Marvel superhero. Because the ball. And, but I think it just sounded like he was just going Hot Guy, so I think then he just became Hot Guy. From what I remember, I think that was how it happened, but I don't exactly remember. But, yeah, that character, he's not really doing that character anymore, but, these artists called Doody and Maruu on tumblr.com kind of picked up where he left off, or rather transformed the character into their own imagining of it. I think this is in, I don't actually know, I think this was set in the 2010s and in I don't know if it was Latin America or where it is, but I think it's somewhere there. And they basically just developed the characters of Hot Guy Scar and Cute Guy Grian, because I think Scar, wanted Grian to join in, but I don't think Grian never put on, the skin that he made him, so everyone was sad about that. But yeah, I think it's really cool because they actually made Scar, an actual disabled superhero, which Scar didn't really, Scar the person. Scar didn't really, he implements a lot of disability stuff into, the lore of, his theme park and stuff in Minecraft, but I don't think he ever specifically said anything about Hot Guy's character being disabled, which is fine, but I did think that this is really cool, and I think the reason that I also got very attached to this comic is because, especially in the later chapters outside of this volume, they wrote their Hot Guy, their version of Hot Guy, to have hypermobile EDS, or it's at least implied that he has it, or something at least similar, but I think it is that. And that's what I have, so I think I kind of just fell in love with it because I was like, oh my god, he's just like me for real, And I've not really seen much much representation of my condition in media other than Sun Spider, who had a little comic, but it wasn't very long. I actually had it, but I lost it one of the times I was moving. I think it fell behind a wardrobe or something and I forgot to pick it up, so. Oh wait, no, I was meant to do something else first. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but. So I'm gonna get this. This is the only white fabric I have, because I was gonna do something to do with Call of the Lamb, and I wanted it to be the wool. But I think it can work for this. So the logo has a white outline around it. So Let me just cut some of this. Okay, that might be a bit of a overcompensation, but it will do. I hope you get what I'm trying to do, because I don't really know how to explain it. The words aren't with me today, so, but if not, you will see it soon. So I'm just gonna try to do the outline. But yeah, I was very happy because they really nicely, it's very accurate to my experience, personally at the very least. Obviously not everyone with the same condition is going to experience everything the same way or feel the same way about their disability, but Scar very much encapsulates how I feel in the comic. And again, it's like the first time I saw like actual representation, and while his disability is a big part of his character, like it's kind of the reason he does his job, it's so he can pay off like his medical bills and stuff. He's still much more than that. He's still a very complex character, and he's not just like the, I don't know, a lot of the time with disability representation, it's kind of like, oh, you know, this person, just pity them, they're just a baby, they can do nothing. No, Scar is cunning as fuck, man. Scar is like an actual cunning cop guy. He's a little bit evil, he's a very grey character, and like while you can see why he has to do his job to pay off his medical bills, it's also like, he's not exactly like, I don't know, apologetic about this job, like he's good at it, if that makes sense, and he's still doing evil things within that job, you know, and he seems to at least enjoy it a little bit, from my interpretation of it. So it's like, it's not just that he did it because it was the only job, it's like he was good at it, you know? Which there's a difference, and I like that. Yeah, I really like, it's like the perfect, like, grey disabled character, you know? Because a lot of the time it's also like, oh yeah, all disabled characters are either villains or pathetic little babies, which is fine, because I am also a pathetic little baby, okay? I do feel like that sometimes too, and that, I'm not saying that's wrong, that's not bad. It's fine if characters are like that. I'm just saying it's nice to see, like, an evil son of a bitch as well in a wheelchair, you know? You know, like, I want some variety. And I think that's really good. I appreciate this. This is a lot bigger than I initially planned. But that's okay, because my wheelchair has a lot of space. So. But yeah, I did also, like, with the chapter where Scar was kind of like, you know, just walking around his house and he didn't have the energy to use his crutches. He kind of like, you know, I don't know how to put it into words, but I almost cried when I read that chapter, because I was like, yeah, this is how I feel, you know? And it's like, at the start, it's like, Scar did still have depth, but I think I still like Grian's character arc more. I loved Scar's character, but I think Grian's plot, like Grian's side of the plot, interested me more. But now it's like Scar kind of just shot up in the ranks for me. So I'm like, whoa, there is so much going on here. And it's like, I think that's really cool that like they managed to write so much from this just idea that Scar had for a character, because I don't remember how much Scar actually himself developed Hot Guy as a character. I don't remember. I mean, I think this comic was like started as like, you know, like Miraculous Ladybug, they've got like the love square thing where like Marinette is Ladybug, but no one knows she's Ladybug, and Adrian is Cat Noir, and no one knows he's Cat Noir. And then like Marinette falls in love with Adrian, but she doesn't know he's Cat Noir, and then Cat Noir falls in love with Ladybug, but he doesn't know Marinette is Ladybug, so they are in love with each other, but they're in love with different facets of each other. And I think this was meant to be like that with Hot Guy and Cute Guy. I think that's how it started. I mean, it's cute that they're like, you know, flirting or whatever, and like I do like those sorts of stories where it's like they both have a secret identity, and it's like I did really like that about Miraculous Ladybug. But I don't know, I'm not personally I don't know, like my boyfriend goes on Twitter, right? And he always tells me, oh, everyone's simping for Scar again, everyone's simping for Scar again in the comic. And I'm just like, am I the only one reading this for the plot? Which, like, I don't blame you, they are very pretty. But, oh, it's just funny to me. So I was like, I didn't even realize people were like full on simping for these character designs, which you know, Maruu and Doody did a very good job with it. So like I'm like the character designs are very pretty. Okay, this is very wonky, but so am I, so that's okay. Where's my black fabric? I cut up a shirt yesterday. Where is it? Oh, there we go. I cut up a shirt yesterday to make it fit better. But yeah, I also appreciate that in the comics, Scar is technically an ambulatory wheelchair user, which is what I am. And an ambulatory wheelchair user basically means that you don't use your wheelchair all the time, which I'm pretty sure Scar the person uses his wheelchair all the time. But in the comic, Hot Guy uses it, he switches it with his crutch, or like walking stick. I think it was a crutch. So technically that does make him an ambulatory wheelchair user, so he only uses his wheelchair when he needs to. I use it maybe twice a week or 3 times a week. Well, it kind of depends on if I'm having a flare-up or not, but that's kind of like the average. Which I appreciate the representation of that too, because you either usually see like a person always using it or never using it. And it's nice to see that it's nice to see someone writing a character with your disability where they understand that your disability fluctuates and your energy levels fluctuate, and it's like it's not so rigid and solid like the stereotypes portray, which again, there's nothing wrong if you're using a wheelchair all the time or a crutch all the time, or if your disability is constant. It's just nice to see the representation of that. And obviously that's not what Scar in real life has, but it's not a comic about Scar, it's a comic about his character. So I think that's fine that it's not entirely or barely based on him. Does that make sense? Of course I love Scar the person too, I watch him a lot. And yeah, it's really nice to have that representation too and to not feel alone. Okay, so I've lost already one of my stencils, which isn't ideal, but it's fine. I don't know where it disappeared to, but we can start with the circles. So I guess I can talk a little bit about my experiences with the wheelchair. It's not, I don't know, I'm not gonna lie and be here and be like, yeah, I was very excited to get my wheelchair. I was actually very, very moody about it. And it's been something we've been, oh wait, why am I using these scissors? I have fabric scissors, why am I torturing myself for no reason? But yeah, I was actually not happy about it. We've been kind of discussing it for like a year. Around the time I started using my not crutch, I think the walking stick was first. Kind of started using my walking stick consistently, but it was still very obvious that that wasn't enough. And now that I've my condition kind of deteriorated a bit more, it was kind of like, I can't leave the house half the time, if not most of the time, like on my own. And if I do leave the house, I am absolutely exhausted and can't do anything else afterwards. And I've also been, I've been trying to get, the state support for my disability, which if any of you have tried that or have watched the news in the UK recently, it is absolute hell. And I would not have been able to do it without my partner helping me, because I would have just broken down because they absolutely hate you. And I'm still fighting for some of it because I was 1 point away and they ignored like half of my evidence. So they just didn't acknowledge it at all. But now they're just ignoring us. So, but anyway, we don't need to get into it. You know, but I've kind of been assessed, and the government basically said, yeah, you don't need to work. We're not going to make you work. I still want to. I still want to do stuff. So I don't want to, and I do try to when I can. But the government has assessed me and said that they're not going to make me try to get a job, and they're going to try to support me. So I have at least enough to live on, which is nice. Love being able to afford to eat. That's very cool. Very snazzy. You know, I still want to be able to go out, and I still want to be able to do stuff, even if it's not work like volunteering, or even just being able to go out to the shops and, you know, stuff without being completely fatigued afterwards. And I guess I had a big worry that people are going to be like, oh my god, I saw them move their legs, and that means they're not paralyzed, and that means they don't need a wheelchair. It's like, do you even need a wheelchair if you can walk most of the time? And I'm like, yes, I do. I am in agony 24/7. I am in pain 24/7. My fatigue varies, and I would still like to be able to go outside, even when the curse of chronic fatigue is eating away at me. I don't want it, but I hate to report that it has been helping. Well, I don't hate to say it. I am happy that it's helping, of course. Otherwise, the 400 pounds in my savings disappeared for no reason. You know, wheelchairs are expensive, and that was one of the cheapest ones. But yeah, I do think it's helpful because, well, I've been able to go out when I otherwise wouldn't have. I'm not missing my therapy appointments anymore. Well, other than when it's really bad. I did miss it this week because I made the mistake of going out the day before, and then I could not get up, so like physically couldn't get up, but it's alright. I'll just need to, it was kind of a special occasion because it was my boyfriend's birthday and a friend from Japan was visiting, so like, you know, it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'll pay the price, you know, because I can't move this, so, but it was okay. But yeah, I've been able to also go for my own birthday. We've been able to go out. And then if we ever go out somewhere like far away, like on the train, we've tried the train. The bus is really difficult because the bus is like just barely wide enough for you to get in. So it makes it very hard, and it always takes me a while to get in and out, and people are always in such a rush. And I have had like people try to push me because I was taking 5 seconds longer than everyone else, and I'm just like, don't push me without my permission. Okay, that's like the equivalent of someone just picking you up because you're taking too long to get on the bus, and just like picking you up and putting you in the bus. It's like, it's okay if you see me struggling and you're like, hey, do you need some help? Do you want me to push you? You know, but like, don't just take me. I'm not a thing. I'm still a person, you know? Like, I'm just trying I'm just using the wheelchair so I'm able to go out and do it, like, my everyday things. It's not here so you can just pick me up, bro. You know, and even if you have the best intentions, again, just ask. It's appreciated if I am struggling and I do need help. And that's very nice of you. But if you don't ask me, then it's just you picking me up and taking me somewhere without my permission. Like, how would you feel if someone just picked you up? Okay, so it's like, they're both on the same side, so that's fine. Yeah, I'll just cut those out now. But by the way, I keep changing my shirts because I keep being either too hot or too cold, and I'm just getting really annoyed. Alright, so that should be all of the pieces actually cut out. So now let's see how we can make them fit together. Why are these guys so long? And then in Scar's patch, it was kind of like, I feel like it will keep, there we go. And in Scar's patch, I think it was more like these bits weren't there. Alright, that's looking good. I'll go find some fabric glue. Okay. Come on, my dude. Stay on, please. I know I'm asking a lot of you, but could you do it? There we go. Okay, I took off my gloves for this because I don't really want to glue my gloves together. And as I found out in my last video where I used this, this glue takes like hours to dry because I accidentally got the, or is it, slow dry glue. So we'll have to wait a little bit for the results, but I think that's a better idea than trying to by hand stitch together two really heavy fabric. And it is quite big. It's a bit, I made this stencil a bit bigger than I intended, but I think that's okay because the wheelchair does have a lot of space, and if it doesn't fit like on the side, I can put it at the back. I was kind of considering putting it at the back anyway. How is it looking? It's looking good. It's looking so much better than I expected, actually. I thought I would fumble this. It's looking cool. I like that. Alright, I will prop some books up on top of it and get back to you in 1,000 years when it dries. See you then.
Oh, look, Papi. Ta-da!
That's sick. I made it big because I wanted it to be on the side, but I made it too big, but I think it looks cool at the back.
You did a really good job.
And I only had this fluffy fabric, but I think
cute,
it looks
though.
good. No, I think it adds to it.
Yeah.
I think the like different texture like brings this out more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's cute. So now you can look at it when you push me. Now say what you said again. I turned the camera off. I said you can look at it when you push me.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, you are.